Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On The Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in the sport of wrestling inside the WWE world. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my WWE Monday Night Raw recap, the Raw after WrestleMania. After WrestleMania took over this year in Las Vegas for night 1 and night 2 this year, WrestleMania. So, to kick off the Raw after WrestleMania, you had these new 17-time WWE champion, the greatest of all time, John Cena, come out to the ring. Now, the introduction that John Cena got, being called the greatest of all time, 17-time world champion, breaking the all-time record that the Nature Boy Ric Flair had in his WWE run with the most world title reigns. John Cena got the proper introduction as being called the 17-time world champion. The pyro that this man got was truly special, but he deserves it. One of the greatest of all time, 17-time WWE champion, breaking the Nature Boy Ric Flair's record, like I just said a few moments ago. John Cena went out, and I'm starting to like John Cena as a heel. He started counting down his appearances and his quest to ruin wrestling as a bona fide heel. And this is the type of John Cena that we've been wanting for a very long time. But to close out the segment, John Cena said, "Get your cameras ready, because it's the last real champion you'll see it." And licking his chops behind him out of nowhere, a picture-perfect RKO was delivered by the Viper, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton, laying out John Cena. I like the fact that John Cena said, "Shit," before he got RKO'd. My childhood flashed before my eyes, because these were the guys I idolized being a wrestling fans of Cena and Orton. We're going to get the run back one more time of this match at Backlash for the WWE Championship. I'm definitely looking forward to it. But this time, the roles are reversed. During this entire rivalry, for majority of it, it was always Cena as the face and Orton as the heel. Now we get Cena as the heel and Orton as the face. So I want to see how this plays out. But they're going to head out of the park. A lot of people expected this WWE Championship match to take place at Backlash, because Backlash is in Randy Orton's hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. We're going to get that. But great way to kick off Monday Night Raw. Next, for the women's division, it was the women's tag team title rematch that we saw from WrestleMania 41 Night 2, where you had Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez defeat Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria to regain the women's tag team titles. Now, I think their tag team match was way better than what they had at WrestleMania 41 Night 1. They had more time to shine. You see more in-ring chemistry being displayed in the rematch that took place on Raw. The tag team moves and the spots were great. The finish was great. The crowd popped for Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez being a 4-time women's tag team champions together. I think that's an all-time record. But as I digress, what transpired afterwards was Becky Lynch turning on Lyra Valkyria. Now, Lyra Valkyria, story-wise, if you guys look back at their time that they had their mini rivalry in NXT where Becky Lynch held the women's title for 2023 into the early part of 2024, it was Lyra Valkyria who defeated her idol to become the NXT Women's Champion. But a year later, now Becky Lynch was pissed off that Lyra Valkyria took the pin. She was fed up, pissed off, and turned heel on Lyra Valkyria. Laid her out, beat the hell out of her, and then delivered 2 manhandle slams to Lyra Valkyria, and that's all she wrote. Now, this storyline is going to be great between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title. Now, ever since the WWE introduced the Intercontinental title and the Women's United States title, the mid-card title scene has been kind of lackluster. We haven't seen it defended on a pay-per-view yet, and we haven't seen a legitimized feud for one of these respective titles. Now, Lyra Valkyria gets the feud with one of the 4 horsewomen in Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title. Get your popcorn ready for the women's division. I think this is going to be a spectacular feud and could elevate Lyra Valkyria to being the next big thing in this women's division. Next, you have the new World Tag Team Champions, the New Day, trying to celebrate becoming a 13-time Tag Team Champion in the WWE, only to be interrupted by Maxi Dupree and the rest of Alpha Academy, Otis and Kira Tozawa. They were wanting to get a World Tag Team title shot. So it looked like we are going to get a World Tag Team title match until Rusev returned back to the WWE. Now, I thought he was going to be Randy Orton's mystery opponent for WrestleMania. I was wrong, and it obviously was Joe Hendry. But Rusev returning back to the WWE, man, this is a breath of fresh air. I've always been a fan of Rusev, and I followed him when he was Miro in AEW. I don't think that Tony Khan utilized him the right way, and of course, he was injured for a lot of the time. But Rusev being back in the WWE, I think there's a lot of possibility of some dream matches, mixing him up with some top stars, young top stars. Braun Breaker comes to my mind. I'll get to him later on in the segment. But Rusev, I feel like him and Sheamus would be a great tag team to go after the New Day for the World Tag Team titles. I'd like to see that in the near future, in the next upcoming weeks, and the next upcoming months for Rusev's return. I think him and Sheamus be one hell of a bona fide tag team just to get his feet wet for his WWE return. But I think this would be spectacular. But Rusev returning back to WWE will be great for business. Next, you had the women's world champion Io Sky coming out and celebrating her triple threat victory that stole the show WrestleMania 41 Night 2 with her, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. She was celebrating only to be interrupted by the NXT women's champion Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer is one of the best women's wrestlers that the WWE has to offer today. She's a great rising star over on NXT. She congratulated her, and then we got a dream match between Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer. Something that was cut short, but we got a good amount of footage of what a future feud could look like between these two respective women once Stephanie Vaquer gets moved up to the main roster. But it was Roxanne Perez and Julia coming out and, of course, causing the disqualification to the end of the match. And then Rhea Ripley coming out to help Io Sky. It seems like the WWE is going to run back a Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley Women's World Title match as early as Backlash. And I think that's best for business. Meanwhile, Bianca Belair could possibly go back to SmackDown and settle out the issues that are going on between her, Jade Cargill, and Naomi, because they kind of brushed that off to get Bianca Belair a women's world title match for WrestleMania. But I thought this was great. Next, you had the new World Heavyweight Champion, Jey Uso. Main event, Jey Uso yeeting all over Las Vegas, Nevada in the T-Mobile Arena. This seemed like a real genuine celebration for Jey Uso, someone that was always viewed as a tag team wrestler. You never would have thought he would have became a world champion until the bloodline was created, and you could start to see the pieces of Roman Reigns pushing his cousin to be possibly a main event star one day. And 5 years later, it paid off. Jey Uso is the new World Heavyweight Champion. I'm looking forward to seeing how his reign goes. I know a lot of people like to shit on Jey Uso because they didn't want him to win the Royal Rumble overall. And I was in that same category. But I'm not going to shit on something that we don't know how good the reign could be just yet. So let's play it out. Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso came out to celebrate him, the honorary Uso, and of course his twin brother Jimmy. I honestly, for Jey Uso's first World Heavyweight title defense, I would like to see him wrestle Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn doesn't have to turn face. Let's get a babyface versus babyface. Sami Zayn coming to a genuine friend saying he wants to be a world champion just like Jey Uso. And they wrestle at Backlash, and I think that'd be a perfect first world title defense for Jey Uso. But next, something that was unexpected, Gunther attacking the announcers team of Michael Cole and Pat McAfee for the comments that they said towards Gunther for WrestleMania weekend, and of course acknowledging the fact that Jey Uso made Gunther tap out of WrestleMania with his own sleeper hold. So Gunther was pissed off, came out, basically put Michael Cole in a sleeper hold, pushed around the announcers, and then Pat McAfee stuck up for his friend, only for Gunther to come from behind, put Pat McAfee to sleep in his own choke sleeper hold. This is great. And maybe this is a way to write Pat McAfee off television. We'll see. But, hey, I like this fact that Gunther is pissed off that he lost the World Heavyweight title. We'll see what direction this goes in. This could be an ongoing storyline to possibly set up a match between Gunther and Pat McAfee in the near future. But, hey, something different for Gunther outside the world title picture. He'll be a world champion one day. Don't worry. Next match, you had the Intercontinental title match between... as I turn on the air in my car, between Dominic Mysterio and Penta. Dominic Mysterio's first Intercontinental title defense, and the pop that he got at WrestleMania 41 Night 2 was great, man. I mean, Dominic Mysterio, someone that has put the hard work and effort since debuting to the main roster in 2020, skipping NXT, and he has done a great job. A well-earned title win for him at WrestleMania. And him and Penta had a pretty good match last night. Now, the story here, if you guys followed the Judgment Day, Finn Balor didn't really want to help Dominic Mysterio in this match. And towards the end, the help that assisted Dominic Mysterio defeat Penta was from JD McDonough, who returned to the Judgment Day. So after the match, everybody was excited that Liv Morgan, Raquel Gonzalez, and Dominic Mysterio all had championship gold to the Judgment Day. and JD McDonough and Carlito were celebrating, but it was Finn Balor that was still pissed because he took the pin at WrestleMania by the hands of Dominic Mysterio. So I think that's going to set up for possibly a backlash feud between Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title. Whether they kick out Dominic Mysterio out of the Judgment Day, well, I think that's the best case scenario because Finn doesn't move me as a babyface right now because he's eager and bitter at the fact that he didn't win the Intercontinental title on Sunday. So I think it would be best to kick Dominic Mysterio out of the Judgment Day, turn him babyface, and this would be a great feud for Dominic Mysterio. And in the closing segment, you had Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, his new advocate, basically come out and celebrate their victory that they had over Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Now, I thought this closing segment was good. We didn't really get to hear much from Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, how this new relationship has formed, because CM Punk's music hit. You seen Seth Rollins and CM Punk brawl, and then once Seth Rollins took out CM Punk, you had Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins brawl, and Roman Reigns got the better part of Seth Rollins and even his Superman punch on his former wise man Paul Heyman, that snake that turned his back on his best friend and his tribal chief at WrestleMania, only for Roman Reigns to get speared by the new Paul Heyman guy and Braun Breaker. And man, was I happy to see Braun Breaker become a Paul Heyman guy, because I thought that was something we get down the line, but damn it, we're getting it now. With Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, a new faction has been born on the Monday Night Raw roster, and I think this is going to set up for a tag team match at Backlash, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I think that's best for business, and that's the direction the WWE should go in. Plus, I would like to see possibly a new faction be born, add a couple more wrestlers to the group of Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, possibly an Austin Theory that needs new direction. Possibly a Carmelo Hayes. They could cook with this. They could honestly cook with this new faction. But thumbs up for the Raw after WrestleMania. I give it a solid 10 out of 10 from start to finish. I was entertained with every segment, every match, and it had some meaning to it storyline wise, and it's setting up stories for the new chapter that concludes after the WrestleMania season. So Backlash should be one hell of a card. If I was booking Backlash, this is easy. I would have Randy Orton versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. I would have Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins team up the new faction against Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I would have Dominic Mysterio defend his Intercontinental Championship against Finn Balor. I would have Lyra Valkyria defend her Intercontinental title against Becky Lynch after Becky Lynch's heel turn. And I would have Jey Uso, if he can make the card, Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that's a picture-perfect Backlash card, a 5-match format for Triple H that loves 5-match formats. So, hey, let me cook. Triple H, give me a call. But that's the easy card for Backlash. But that's all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.